Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a really pretty, well, I think it's going to be pretty, bracelet using our Violet Glade mix from Bargain Bead Box. I think I'm going to like this. Why don't we turn down and I will show you what we're going to do. Okay, what I want to do here is I'm going to take my two dragonfly connectors and they're going to go like so. But then we're going to have one of the amethysts in the middle with some bead caps here and some of the rondelles. And we're going to hook that together with some amethyst, with some soft flex. So we have a couple of crimp tubes here for that. And then we're going to go to the other side and we have some more crimp tubes because now we're going to attach, well, it's going to go more like this because the dragonflies are. And we're going to I need two more crimp tubes, that's all right. Then we're going to go with start off with a rondelle on this side. Then we're going to put in the jade. Bing, bing. The matte piece here, and it's going to have bead caps as well. Then we're going to have the large amethyst. Back to the matte. Back to the jade after that. And then we have the rondelles. Here with bead caps on one of them. Looks like I may have some extra bead caps, but that's all right. And anyway, so that's how we're going to go up the line here. And then we will attach it here with the jumpring and the lobster claw. A bit of soft flex out, and we'll do this little piece in here first. So because we're doing that little piece first, we really don't need a very big piece. Maybe that big. We probably don't need that big, but I like to have enough room for making my crimps and everything easily turned, because it can be a royal pain if you don't have enough room. So, two of those should be here with this one. Now, I've got this really tight here, and I don't want this tight because we want to have some movement here. So that's pretty good right there. So now I'm going to get my crimping pliers, and we're going to slide it over that and squish and turn and squish. So it's on there pretty good. Actually, it tightened up a little bit more than I wanted it, but that's all right. Now we want to cut this back to just a little bit because the other side's going to come through also, so we don't want to have it to be too large for the wire to be too large for our and go into the amethyst and knock the other side out. So there we go. See that? That's going to be our front of our bracelet there. So now we just have to hook the other side on here. But we want to be careful when we put it on, because we don't want to we want to make sure that our dragonflies both stay to the front of our bracelet here. That's good. So hold this while I crimp this in place here. Oops, I'm getting the edge of my dragonfly here, and I just crimped it a little bit, so it's now got a slightly squished spot in the dragonfly. Get out of the way, guy. There we go. Let's see if that got sharp. Maybe a teeny touch on the edge here. So I will, where I caught it, the edge of it with my crimping pliers, it has a little bit of a divot here. I don't know if you can see it right here. It's not too bad, but it does have a little bit of an edge to it, so we're gonna just give it a little file, make sure it's not too bad. Now there we go, that's fine. There we go. So now we need to cut off our extra wire here. There we go. And now, as you can see, we are like so. Now this is going to slide over some as we go over to the other side. Whoop, why'd you do that? Because of the where our connector tubes are, spots are. So let's get some more wire out, and we will go on with at least with the first side, and then we'll switch to the other side. This is probably way more than I need. I'd rather have too much than not enough though, so we get our crimp tube here. Put her through our piece, up and through our crimp again, and push her down into place. And then crimp her down. Turn, crimp, I'm going to cut some of this wire off because I don't need this much to go through our things here at this end. So let's get these guys strung in here. Or I should say put a bead stopper on this side so that we could get the other side done. I don't want to crimp this side because just in case I have it too long, then I could take some beads off instead of having to uncrimp it and do the whole side again. So let's get some more wire out and we'll get this other side done. So let's get our crimp tube on and through the crimp up here. And crimp pliers up in here and squish. Turn, squish, turn, squish, turn, squish, until it doesn't squish anymore. That one looks like it at least needs one more squish. Yeah, definitely. There we go. Okay, now we'll string it up just like we did the other side with our little rondelle first. Which we should be able to go right over the wire here. There we go. And now the jade. Matte. Amethyst. Matte. And I noticed it has slipped off the end there, but that's all right. We can fix that. Jade. And our rondelles. Let's get that back in the wire. It has slipped out. Come on, you. Don't want the beads to fall off, so while we fix this, we'll put a bead stopper on that side. Down it goes, and there we go. Now there is our bracelet. It'll sit on our wrists like so, with the dragonflies on either side, and then come around. And I think we're too long, because I have a 7 1/4 inch. I wear a 7 1/4 inch, and the beads are touching there, and we still have to put on our clasp here. So we're definitely going to need to take off the little pinkish colored rondelle, and maybe even the next one. Let's see how that looks after we take that baby off. So around we go again. Now this bracelet we probably don't want to have tight, because if you have it tight and you bend your wrist a lot, you're going to bash into that one set of dragonfly wings. So we don't want it tight, but we don't want it really loose either. So let's get the sizer out and see what it ends up being here. So we'll pull it around from this way. I want it to be 7. Okay, that's sitting properly. Or a 7 1/4 at the most. I think by the time we get the clasp on, we're going to have that 7 1/4. We'll probably have 7 1/2. Because we're almost at 7 1/4 now. Once we get the crimps on, that's going to add that 7 1/4, and then the lobster claw is going to add more. So I think we are going to take off those last rondelles here on either side, this last set. And if it's a little smaller, I'd rather have it be a little smaller than way big. So let's get that off. Like I say, the crimping will add some, and then of course the lobster claw is going to add quite a bit. So let's get one side. Put the big one on one side, which is what the lobster will attach to. And now with Softlex, you could just make a loop of Softlex without even having to put in a crimp. I mean a jumpring. But I like to add the jumpring, and I definitely put the jumpring on the other side because it's going to have the lobster claw. Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, so what difference does that make? The reasoning I do that with the lobster claw side is because if the lobster claw should break, then you can easily switch it out if you've got a jumpring on there, as opposed to if you don't, if you have to do the whole thing, not fun. Of course, with this bracelet, if the lobster claw broke, you'd only have to do one little portion of it, but I would just as soon not have to do any at all. So if you have the jumpring in there and the lobster claw breaks, then you automatically have a way to change it without any great difficulties. So we will put this stuff aside, get our jump ring for this side, put it down here. Come here, you have to be on this side of the crimp. And you could just make the loop before you bother to put the jump ring on. I put the jump ring on so that when I pull it, I can't automatically pull it all the way through, if you know what I mean, and just end up pulling it off. Come here, you. Okay, there's the gap. Okay, now we'll crimp that. Oh, come on, you. Get out of my way. Okay, now that we've got that crimped, we can cut this extra wire off right here. And there. Now we just need to hook our lobster claw on. And we will be done. So we'll get our pliers out. Open this baby up. Slip our lobster claw on. Now this is a swivel lobster claw, so it will move around to a degree. Go. Ready? And we are done. So now let's clasp this, hook this up, and we will put it on the sizer and see how big it ended up being. Now see, I took those beads out and I'm still at 7.5. So that's still a little bigger than I would have liked it to be, but to make that smaller if I wanted to, I could change my jumprings. I could switch this to this size over here, and that would shorten it a bit. And I could also take this one and make it even a smaller jumpring, because I do have some really tiny ones. So that's maybe what we're going to do. We will just take this one out. Then we are going to take this one out. And since we'll already have it open, we will just put it over here right away. Or we could have just left our lobster claw on this, put our lobster claw on this side, and left our ring over there. But there's this ring. Now I need to get my teeny tinies out and do the other side there. See, this is very teeny tiny, but as long as the lobster claw fits on it, there's no problem. Speaking of, oh, there it is. I was going to say, where did our lobster claw go to? So, onto here, and onto our lobster claw, and close it up. Yep. Now we will hook this onto here. As you see, it will fit on there fine. Come on, baby, go. And now we'll see how much of a difference that made as far as our size is concerned. Now it didn't take it all the way down where I'd like it, but it's still a bit smaller. So a bit smaller is better than not a bit smaller. So there we go. Just a little over. It's about halfway in between 7.5 and 7.25 now. So there we go. There's our bracelet. Isn't that pretty? So there we go. There's our pretty little bracelet that we've made using our Violet Glade Bargain Bead Box. I think it turned out really pretty. I hope you did too. I really like it. So there we go again. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.